I hang in the hood every day, that's me. I'm a straight project nigga, it ain't no secret. I rap about it and I live it at the same time.
Tab Virgil Jr., aka Young Turk, Hot Boy Turk, or simply Turk, born February 8th, 1981. Today's feature is a rapper that grew up practically bred for stardom in rap music, being signed and developed on one of hip-hop's legendary labels Cash Money Records since 16, 17 years old. That stardom came by default, seeing how hot artists like Juvenile, BG, and Lil Wayne became after the song Bling Bling dropped in 1999, featuring a verse from every hot boy and big timer except Turk. That song would go down in history as a monumental moment for that time period in hip-hop that really put Cash Money on the map, and every artist involved received a boost from that record and went on to carve out platinum careers, except Turk. But Turk wasn't at all left off bad and bougie. He did have a verse on that song, but only the less focused on album version, where he came on the track as dope as ever. Lil nigga 17, playing with six figures, got so much ice you could skate on it. But wasn't available for the popular radio and music video version that blew up all across the world, where people from different countries knew that song and each artist's verse word for word. Turk recalls it being a rainy day where he was getting high off drugs and choosing not to answer his phone when he was being called to the studio to lay his radio version verse down. Lil Wayne, who initially didn't have a verse on the album version of the song, just a hook and bridge at the end, was able to fill in for Turk and lay a verse that would set Wayne's career off and stamp him as the youngest hot boy everyone wanted to learn more about. That song was indicative of the career Turk would go on to have. Always left outside in the cold, it seems, while the rest of the hot boys, even the big timers, each had something about them that made them stand out and show how serious they were about taking over in rap, except Turk. Even he refers to himself as the black sheep of the group, and that's exactly how I remember him since Cash Money became a thing in music. While everyone was heating up to 400 and 500 degrees, Turk seemed to cool off more and more, only able to release one album on Cash Money Universal that was highly anticipated and well received, even though it didn't have the monetary success of the other hot boys. Turk's career, in my eyes, was supposed to parallel Lil Wayne's, as they were the two youngins in Cash Money, poised to take over and carry the label into the future, as Lil Wayne did do, going on to be the biggest rapper in the world at one point. Turk had the chance to be hot, but for these reasons, he became the coldest hot boy. What happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to Rodney Minifield 5296 for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music. Just get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Young Turk is a rapper from New Orleans, Louisiana, Magnolia Project's 3rd Ward to be exact, known for being one of the grown kids on the block because he was doing all the adult activities since 12 years old. One of his neighbors, a female called Magnolia Shorty, rapped and eventually signed to Cash Money. She knew Turk rapped and that he was dope, so she introduced him to Baby, Slim, and Manny Fresh at one of their DJ parties they were throwing. Turk got on the mic and rapped, and the rest was history. He was signed to Cash Money in 1996 at just 15, 16 years old. He says it was a dream come true for a block boy to sign to one of the biggest rap labels in the game at the time. He joined Lil Wayne, BG, and Juvie to form the group Hot Boys. BG and Juvie, the oldest and more experienced, and Turk and Wayne, the youngins in line to carry the torch when time readied them. For these reasons, Turk never did. Stunt number 1, drug addiction. One of the easiest ways to succumb to the pitfalls of life is allowing yourself to become a part of a negative environment. Once you've accepted that said environment determines who you are, you're no longer able to grow bigger than that place. In the streets, everything is negative because it takes a certain mindset to survive a place nobody has much. A part of Turk's environment growing up, like many, was some form of drug use. In a place like the projects, it can feel like you need something to sedate you through the hard times, which is more days than not. Turk remembers doing just that. It was normal to snort a bag of coke because the people he looked up to, like Magnolia Slim, aka Soulja Slim, were rapping about doing just that to the point it was a normal activity. Turk, being a high school dropout turned rapper, he had all the free time and ability to go out and get as high as he wanted. In rap, it's even encouraged artists use certain vices to become more comfortable while creating. But the drug use for Turk got bad when it started interrupting him as a person and the business behind him. As a person, it made Turk more recluse and wanting to hide in the background so no one knew what he was doing. Seeing as Baby and Slim hated his artists using any drugs, Turk came around less, and when he did, stayed quiet in the background, not wanting his using heavy drugs to be discovered. It made him miss opportunities, like his verse being on the Hot Boy's biggest song ever, Bling Bling, and not Wayne's. Wayne gained a lot of fans from that song and video, most importantly, increasing anticipation for his solo music. He also missed the video for Wayne's debut single, The Block Is Hot, that BG and Juvie were present for and helped promote them as well. Turk that day was high on heroin and Valium on the set and was too high to perform his part, and also lost his temper in argument with Baby to the point he was sent home. Turk's drug addiction was also more than using, but distributing, which brought him legal issues that pretty much solidified he had too much going on to be a star like the rest of the Hot Boys. Stunt number 2, leaving Cash Money. In an interview with Vlad TV, Turk revealed that he actually regrets leaving Cash Money in 2003, and I can understand in hindsight why he feels that way. He says his decision to leave was largely based on emotion and how he felt about the lack of support he received while he was locked up prior to him leaving. For 7 months, he couldn't bond out of jail, and while there, he didn't receive a visit or much of anything from Cash Money. So when he got out and came home to news that BG and Juvenile had left, he saw fit to leave as well, seeing as he didn't feel the love he thought he deserved at his lowest point. But him leaving basically killed his career from then on for a lot of reasons. First of many was because with BG and Juvie now gone, there was much more room for him to be one of 2 focal points of Cash Money, he and Lil Wayne. That show of loyalty and no other option would have forced Baby and Slim to promote him more, elevating his name in the game. Also, he would have grew closer to Wayne and learned from his insane work ethic and maybe grow into an entirely different artist. I can't imagine Turk with the same musical transformation as Lil Wayne throughout the 2000s and early 2010s. Secondly, Turk to me was an artist that needed a label or situation behind him to do the other parts of the business he didn't have the star power on his own to provide. Juvie, BG, and Wayne had star power naturally, all in their own way. Turk was the most normal of them per se, with nothing special about him at that point, so needed the umbrella of a Cash Money Records. That showed when he left and put out 4 albums from 2003 to 2006, but none had anywhere the notoriety and success of his debut Cash Money release. Since 2006 to today, he put out only 1 album in 2022, displaying a lack of work ethic to be a solo, independent star. Stunt number 3, locked up at the wrong time. Another major reason this hot boy grew cold fast was because he simply wasn't around for much of their hottest times as rappers under Cash Money or not. The 2000s was all the hot boys' chance to become major artists, and only Wayne and Juvie to an extent took advantage of it. BG and Turk were both tied in and out of the legal system and not around to take advantage of their hottest period like Lil Wayne did. In 2004, Turk's house was raided by a SWAT team. After getting a tip, it contained kilos of illegal drugs, guns, and plans to skip town. They approached the door and stated who they were, but there was no answer from the occupants of the house. They burst through the door and a shootout ensues between SWAT and Turk. In the process, at least one officer was hit before Turk surrendered. Thinking he could beat the case due to the fact he was protecting his home from intruders, he rejected a plea deal and lost at trial, sentenced to 12 years in prison. He ended up doing 8 years, 8 months, and 16 days before his 2012 release. From 2004 to 2012, that was the exact time frame Lil Wayne became the biggest rapper in the game before transferring the torch to his artists Drake and Nicki Minaj. Turk missed that entire era and came home to an industry far removed from whatever he offered as a rapper. He was by then old news as the game got younger and sonically changed. All in all, Turk never truly got to be the rapper he could have. He had too much going on to be. He enjoyed the fame for a short time and traveled around the world while it lasted, even given lifelong opportunities simply because of cash money. But for these reasons, he never caught fire and remained the coldest hot boy. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.